I have tremendous respect for migrants who come to the United States, believe in the American dream, apply at the appropriate border crossing, and say thank you for everything you've every opportunity you've afforded me. I hope that the paperwork moves through and I can come to your country.
Well, and none of them are actually going through the checkpoints, and that's for a reason.
Well, no. Migrants are. Criminal aliens are not.
Yep.
And that's the legal term. I think shout out James Lindsay. He had this post where he said, "Do not use the leftist language. It is a political agenda." So when we are specifically referring to individuals who are committing crimes against the United States and against Texas, and they're being assisted by the Biden administration, to which the Texas governor has called out the Biden administration for doing, those are the criminal aliens. And I would not want to besmirch the good name of migrants, because I like migrants. I like the people who respect this country. It doesn't mean they get to come in, doesn't mean they get to move here, but sometimes they do. And through the appropriate means, that's beneficial to the economy, beneficial to the communities. What's going on with Southern Border and CBP and Biden is the antithesis. It is destructive. It is chaos. The crazy thing to me is, as you described, like these NGOs bringing these big caravans, what's their goal? Just sowing chaos and hurting these people?
Basically, every single step of the way. I mean, they get paid every single step of the way. A lot of the NGOs that operate in Mexico are also operating in America. So, or they're working together in some fashion or some capacity. So you'll have them cross, and then immediately after they're done being processed, the NGO will step in, which, in Eagle Pass and all these other border towns, they quite literally have buildings there. And then they start facilitating these migrants. And then, the one in San Antonio that I was at last month, or at the beginning of January, where San Antonio PD was essentially running private security, facilitating the human smuggling of these illegals. They quite literally put them in this area for an X amount of time. And then they say, hey, if you can afford your own ticket, or they kind of phrase it in a little more aggressive manner. They try and get these illegals to buy their own tickets. And then if they aren't willing to buy their own tickets after a certain amount of time, or they can't afford it, they'll end up saying, okay, we can pay half. And then if they still can't afford it, they end up paying the full thing.
Who's paying it?
The NGOs.
Wow. I mean, there should be some kind of criminal investigation charges against the organizations for facilitating illegal immigration. I mean, it's laughable. CBP, the only reason the cartels and the smugglers are able to operate is because CBP was like, we got you.
Absolutely. Well, and that's the same thing with San Antonio PD running security for this facility. Yeah. They are essentially taking cartel money, because cartels will pay these NGOs because they're doing their dirty work and their groundwork for them. And then it's washed through San Antonio, the city of San Antonio, essentially, and then given to these officers at a higher rate than they're already being paid, which San Antonio PD, they're already getting paid good money, but they're still willing to go and do this in uniform and actually guard these migrant facilities and essentially threaten you with arrest if you keep asking them questions, as they did with me.
Feels like there is a boa constrictor on the neck of this country, slowly just squeezing and squeezing. And man, the challenge is discipline. I feel like the best thing we can do is hope that by voting for Donald Trump, he gets in and starts to reverse course. And there's no guarantees that happens, but that is the best path forward we have right now. And that being said, Greg Abbott seems to have done a lot to abate this, but now we need Arizona and New Mexico to do the same. New Mexico won't. New Mexico will always just say, we're an open door. They're Democrat run. They're trying to ban guns. They're doing a whole bunch of crazy stuff.